questions for the end, and we will work our way through them. Jesse, you want to start us off this time?
Porter, Glenn talked about how last week was a good opportunity for the team to get closer, bonding, that type of stuff. But for you, after those 3 games, what did you learn about the team? And then specifically, how helpful was it in terms of finding your identity on both ends?
No, we knew we were going to find a lot out about ourselves playing that competition and doing that. And I thought, things I found out is that they could take a punch, and I think the teams we get up and they keep coming back, and then find a way to win. And I thought we showed some resiliency of in those 3 days, just to continue to find games, winning 3 games at that level when all the games weren't decided until the last minute, and till the horn. And so I thought that I learned a lot about them. One of the things I've liked about how this team's evolving is the togetherness, the lack of entitlement, with the guys. And so I've seen that with them, and you could just see them prepare. Because there's a lot of, you go to game, and just the preparation, the want to prepare to win. And it was a really connected group. Found out that, some things we got to do better, and just saw a lot of resiliency with this group.
We'll go Tom, then James.
Porter, before the season, you had mentioned that you're eyeing December as a possible return for Jeff to start practicing. Any update on his progress there?
Yeah, he's doing full individual workouts. I mean, he's running, jumping, shooting, nothing live contact yet, but his progression has been amazing. But he is doing live full 5-on-0 workout, or not 1-on-0 workouts, dribbling, ball handling, shooting, running, jumping. But there's no definite timetable when that return is yet, because there's still that. I did my Achilles. Now, I did my Achilles at 37, not young and athletic as Jeff. I've never been athletic as remotely as his right wrist. There's a confidence issue when you come back with your Achilles, because it's such, to push off and jump and to cut with that Achilles. So there's one thing doing these workouts, and another thing is doing the live workouts. So we're just going to keep the progression going. I'm listening to the doctors and Seth, but he's been progressing great.
And how's Jadon's back coming along?
Jadon, he hasn't practiced yet and everything, but he's feeling better. And I think the back is just always tricky, because if it's no use doing like 1-on-0 workouts if your back is still bad. That's you can push through an ankle, you can push through some things, but backs are tricky. So he's still not back.
James.
Luke got a lot of run in this tournament, and you got Bryson back too, so you're deeper now. As you look at your personnel, how do you think it's fitting together after?
Better. The first 4 games there were teams that switched 1 through 5, and they just weren't great matchups for Luke when you switch. And then we knew going into this tournament they were going to play a lot of drop coverage, and we just felt, we talked to Luke beforehand, you being able to pick and pop changes things. You're not a roll guy, so immediately we saw the difference, and he stepped up, and I've always known Luke can shoot, and I was excited for him to see. He had big contributions in all games, but he got rebounds in traffic, and that was so good to see. His defense was better, his rebounding, his aggression. And I'm telling you, that is a great sign for our team, because he's just a different weapon. At 6'11", if he's a threat that can shoot it like pick and pop and shoot, it's just different. And then getting Bryson back. Bryson hit big shots. He had that 4-point play. He hit in Providence. I think he had 7 or something. But getting contributions from Bryson and Luke in each one of these games absolutely helped out in this tournament.
Ryan, then Mason.
Well, you mentioned all 3 of those games kind of going down to the horn. I know you've got veteran guys. How important is it to get those veteran guys to be in those closing situations together, though, and kind of grow through that?
It's interesting, because you didn't see any panic. You didn't see anything. We were communicating. We were talking, you can tell that Duke and Kobe been in a lot of games together. Not together, but in a lot of games. But it just builds confidence. I mean, Kobe made a comment to me. He was in Atlantis last time, and he went 0-3. And he was so fired up to go 3-0. So it was. I liked it was different guys, different nights, and then for Jalen Moore to have the night he did his first night and end up MVP talks speaks to a mental resiliency that's growing within Jalen. You know, because he was really down after that first game. Even though he won, he was happy with the guys, but like, he know, like, God, I can play so much better, I can play. And man, to have the 2 games that he did following that, that's mental toughness.
Porter, just what was it like watching Jeremiah just continue to kind of come into his own over the weekend? What did you see from him?
You know, I saw him a passion to win. You know, you could just see it wasn't about that stage and him doing well. Like, he was in the moment to win. The thing that I also saw is an attention to clean up mistakes. You know, he had an attention to detail. Like, he saw, I think he had 8 turnovers in the first one, and we know he's going to have some because of the aggression and the pace that he plays with. But then to cut that in half of Arizona, that was a big part. I thought he played a really, really solid floor game. And then he part of the growth is learning how to play with foul trouble. That's the first game he's been in foul trouble, was Louisville. And you learn from it. That's why I threw him in with 2 fouls in the first half, knowing that I was going to need him, just say a little Hail Mary that he wasn't going to pick up his third. But I wanted to get him in there just because of his age and, you know, that and all the hype going into the game before Arizona. And he hit a 3, and I was like, okay, good, I can get him out now. But I wanted him to, I joke, but I wanted him to get into flow. Sometimes when you sit there 14 minutes, back in the day, I used to be like, you got 2 fouls, you're sitting. If you get 2 fouls early, I'm going to try to find you a couple more minutes somewhere and just really talk to you about playing smart. Because it's really hard to sit 14 minutes and then start the second half. It's, you know, I played him a couple minutes here and there. I was trying to get him going, and then I pulled him the last 5 minutes of the half.
We'll go Colton and Carson.
Porter, you guys have got off to some hot starts to start seasons, you know, throughout your tenure here. Just how important are these next couple of games against some tough competition to kind of learn how to, for this group to learn how to win and kind of maintain it as conference play comes?
Yeah, most important game is Georgia Tech. I mean, it's just, I have never changed in my resolve on how we approach stuff. It's the biggest game is Georgia Tech coming in. It's a fast turnaround to go and come back Tuesday night. So our guys know it, but we're going to spin it in the right way. Let's keep playing. You know, let's keep getting better. So it's, for us, it's all about this next game tomorrow night.
Sure.
You probably don't put a whole lot of weight on preseason rankings as a coach, but seeing you guys be picked 15th out of 16th in the SEC, what kind of chip on the shoulder do you think that was for you guys as players? Do you think that, I don't know, maybe made them a little bit more aggressive? Kind of made, I don't know what the right word is, but
Yeah.
made them a little bit more aggressive.
The thing that I've been in that position before, and I remember sitting here talking about it when the rankings came out, and I've been to that position to where you don't get preseason ranked, and it's what you talk about within your locker room walls. You know, we talked about like that. The only thing that matters is us, but then the next step is then going out and getting better. And you know, when rankings come out, everyone can be like, "Oh man, I shouldn't have been right there or right there." But then what are you going to do about it as a team? Are you just going to? Is it all lip service, or are you going to have a resolve in practice every day to get better? To have your, I say this a lot of times, man, your actions got to match your words. And these guys, to this point, their actions have matched their words. They took offense. They were in there, but we didn't talk about it after that. It's just been every day of, we have said within our locker room, the one thing we can say, we're not ranked the best team in the SEC. We're not ranked the best team in the country, but we can be the best team at getting better. We can be the best team in the country at getting better. And we need to in a couple areas. You know, I thought it was a really brilliant coaching move to allow Louisville to have 25 offensive rebounds, wear them out, crashing for the glass, and then hopefully they retire at the last minute of the game. But we allowed them to have that many rebounds, and we got to clean it up. We got to clean it up. I mean, we can't. Our defense has been very good, but if you can't get that rebound, you got to start all over with your defense, and therefore it goes down. So we know we got to clean that up. And the guys, to get back to your original question, is no, that wasn't our destination to get ranked. It was our destination is to keep chasing, getting better.
Josh and Tom.
Yeah, Porter, just curious your thoughts on the matchup tomorrow, and then obviously the obvious, but the uniqueness of having Jacob back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech, you know, they have a lot of weapons. I think Terry's playing really well. That I think George, number one, their point guard, is the best passing point guard, I've watched on film, and I've watched a lot of TV. He had 11 assists the other night. He can really pass. He can pass at all levels. And I think he makes them go. I think he's really good. Nabongo is on draft boards. They start 6'10", 6'11". For Javian, you wish him luck. I mean, I don't no hard feelings. And that's the way the world is with the transfer portal. It is, you want to retain guys, want to get them better. And if you don't, you can't sit there and fret about it. You move on. You wish him luck. We go our own way. And I know he didn't play last game, so we'll see. But there's been no hard feelings on our part. Once that, it's almost a new way of life. You do everything you can to keep kids, and they decide to go somewhere else and move on. And he did, and we did, and that's our storyline is Duke and Kobe and Jeremiah and Dayton. Those guys have been really, really getting better and doing really good for us.
On the flip side of it, Jalen playing his former team. I know it's been a couple years and it's a new staff over there, but do you have to? I'm sure he's been looking forward to this, but do you have to kind of get him to harness that focus so he doesn't get caught up in the moment?
There's very few players that you're trying to turn the temperature down on. Jalen, I love him, and I don't even want to harness it. We got to be smart with it and let him know it's just another game. But his energy that he brings, man, I love coaching his energy, and if we got to coach him a couple times just to settle down, we got enough of a relationship we can talk like that. But I love that he's hyped to play. I love that the guys love him, and that he's bringing them along to play. And so, not a concern for me. Ask me at halftime.
We'll go Holden then Dylan.
Yeah, Porter, I know Dan Hurley made some comments about how he doesn't really like the multi-team events. Just curious about your thoughts on them, because it seems like you guys have done pretty well the past few years.
I haven't even had time to think about it. So I got no comment where I like them. All I can speak to is we had a great experience with Atlantis. The people there was first class. The tournament was run first class. And obviously, we did well. So I can't speak about anybody else's thing. I can just speak about our experience was great. But I will say this: there is a thought to it, because it's very, very tough to play 3 games in 3 days, travel back, and you're trying to just jump right back in the film room preparing for the ACC Challenge. The timing was, but you can look at it. You can look at anything in life, half glass, half full. If we had a week off, then we'd be saying, God, we got a week off. We were playing well. Now we got to take a week off. That'd be the questions I got. So I'm going to look at it, my positive outlook, like, let's go play again. Let's prepare. Let's go to work and play again.
Dylan.
Kind of going back to what you mentioned about Jeremiah, how much are you still sort of learning and experimenting with not just the young guys, but some of the transfers, in game? How much are you trying to figure out how they handle different situations just throughout the process of it all?
Well, it's not me just trying to figure out how they handle them. It's almost like you got to handle them. You handle it. Like, we're in this thing. Like a Glenn Taylor. I had a lot of confidence in Glenn. How did Glenn have it? We counted on him. We brought him in here being older to handle situations. And man, he had 2 huge buckets for us down the stretch. Played excellent defense. And that's what we brought him in for. We lost Jeff. We got him late. And he's been into some games. Duke Miles comes from a winning program. Every coach that ever played for him said, man, Duke makes big plays. That inbound plays, free throw, and makes big plays. And same with Kobe. And it's an expectation. It's not the scrimmages early on where we're trying to figure out who does. Now we expect them. We talk about in practice. We do have situations. There's an expectation. This is how we got to handle this. So it was good to see it, and then we just got to keep growing as a team, man, because every game right in front of you is going to be a huge game, and I don't care who you play. Yeah, we're going to be playing that team tomorrow, Georgia Tech.
Right.
Or you mentioned new way of life in college basketball. Is it even weird anymore to prepare guys to either play against your old team or guys that have transferred in conference where you prepared for them for one school, now they're next year? Is that even weird anymore? Is that just kind of normal now?
I'm trying to think if it's happened to me yet. You guys probably know more than I. If we played against anybody we transferred against.
Well, because even if it's not necessarily like a Jalen or Jason,
Oh, we did.
But guys that
Josh Fedoro.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Texas
moved
State.
in conference that you prepared for in one jersey, and next year they're playing in a different system. Like, is that stuff just weird?
I mean, it's weird. It's not what I signed up for, but it is. We got to lean into it. I mean, you have two choices. You can sit there and feel awful and complain and use it as an excuse, or you can move on. And I think you got to move on. I was last spring. It was tough. You had a lot of guys back, and you didn't. So we moved on. We went, got out some other really good guys, and I couldn't be more excited about the guys we got in our locker room. That's all my focus is. I really haven't. I mean, it hasn't been this motivational speak again for Javion. It hasn't been anything like that. It's about this is what Georgia Tech does well. This is what we got to do. This is how we got to come back. It's just a way of life. Because I think in a couple, when it starts NIL, this is probably the fourth or fifth cycle. You're going to be, if you're going to sit and fret over who you're playing against, guys that were at your school, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So you just got to move on. It's just got to get over it. It's the way of life, and then get guys in here, and then you go to battle with them, and that's what we do. You got to love these guys that are here, and I do. And we're excited to go where we've done and go play some more.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.